All right, good afternoon, everyone. Hope you're doing well. Another rainy day, and hopefully the weather will turn and the sun will come out, and the feeling of springtime will come as well with some warmer and more beautiful weather over the weekend. Hopefully, Shabbos will be very nice. I see Rhonda Lehman is on with us today. She mentioned to me that today is her mother's yahrzeit, and tomorrow is her sister's yahrzeit. And hope both their neshamas should have an aliyah, Leah Bat Yitzchak Mordechai and Fega Duba Bas Moshe. I hope that the learning should be as close for their neshamos. I see also Steve Prensky's on, and his father's yahrzeit today as well. So hope his neshama should have an aliyah as well, and should only see brachos for all of Klal Yisrael. I want to do a short Rashi today from Parshas Metzora, an interesting Rashi. We've been learning a lot about Saras over the last number of weeks. Just this week, last week, Parshas Tazria, Parshas Metzora. And we finally, if you didn't think you knew enough about Saras, here comes the middle of our Parsha, and we learned that there's yet another form of Saras, which we didn't know about before, and that is Saras Habayis. Parshas Tazria, we learn about Saras that comes on your body, it comes on your skin, it comes on your hair, on your face, on your head. Now we learn about a new kind of Saras that comes on your home. The Torah in the fourth Aliyah speaks about our arrival, eventually, God willing, in Eretz Canaan, Eretz Yisrael. And so he says something special is going to happen over there that can't happen here yet in the midbar, but it'll happen down the road. By Hashem Moshe el Aaron Lemor, Hashem speaks to Moshe and Aaron saying, Kisavo el Eretz Canaan, when you finally come to Eretz Canaan, Asher Anamino Sen Lachem, that I'm going to give you, La'achuzah, as an inheritance, as a stronghold, as your personal property, personal land, your homeland. V'nasati negat saras bebeis eretz achuzaschem. I'm going to put saras in your homes, on the walls of your homes. Not only going to appear on your clothing, on your face, on your hair, on your arms, it's going to appear on the walls of your house. You're going to suddenly see an affliction on the walls of your house. And the process that the Torah describes over here is very similar to the way the process goes when you have a nega on your skin. You have an affliction on your skin. The Kohen has to come. He has to see. He has to analyze. He might put it in quarantine, not put it in quarantine. In the end of the day, though, the Torah tells us that if there is a negat saras in the bayis, in the home, then the only way to resolve the problem, the only way to get rid of the tuma, of the impurity, is to destroy that particular wall, that particular area, that particular home, and to tear it down. So Rashi picks up on an interesting word in the intro to this piece of the halachos of taras. It says, when you come into the land that I'm going to give you as a stronghold, as an inheritance, I'm going to give you tsaras. That's a very strange way to put it. Normally, when tsaras is described, you look earlier in Tazria, Metzora, it's okay if you happen to see a blemish on your skin, then you have to go to Kohen, you have to wonder, is it tsaras, is it not tsaras? Okay, yes, I have tsaras. It's all talking about what happens after the fact, after you see the nega. But God never promises us, hey, you know, you, Bram Weinberg, I'm going to give you tsaras. It's going to appear on your skin. Never predicts that we're going to get tsaras. It just says if you have a blemish, then you have to figure out, is it tsaras or not? And yet here, in the case of the land, tsaras in our homes, when we come into the land of Israel, the Torah says, V'nasati, I'm going to give it to you purposefully, proactively. Very strange. Saras seems to be something bad. It seems like an affliction, a punishment. Why would God proactively give this to us and allow this to come into our homes? So Rashi addresses this question of Vinasati. He says, what it sounds like from Vinasati is Bisorahi. It's good tidings. It's good news. It's like an announcement. Wow, you're going to come into the land, and by the way, here's a treat. I'm going to give you tsaras in your home. Why is it such a treat? Why is it something special? Why is it good news and not bad news? He's predicting for them that Negaim will come. Okay, it's not exactly a gift. It's not exactly God proactively saying, I'm going to give it to you, but he's predicting to them that this will definitely happen when they come into the land. It's still more proactive than any of the other cases of tsaras. Why? Lafi shehitminu amorim matmonios shel zahav bekiros baseim kol 40 shana shayu Yisrael b'midbar. Because the nations that lived in the land of Canaan hid gold and all kinds of treasures in the walls of their home all 40 years that the Jewish people were traveling in the desert. You could imagine they left Mitzrayim. Yetzias Mitzrayim happens, Kriyas Yamsuf, all the miracles we know from the Psukim in Kriyas Yamsuf, Namogu Kol Yoshvei Canaan, all the hearts of the nations of Canaan, they melted, they were scared, they were afraid. Here comes this mighty Jewish nation. They knew they were coming, and they were preparing for war. What do you do when you prepare for war? You take your valuable possessions and you hide them. Because if the army comes through and there's a battle, they're going to take the spoils of war. They're going to take or raid your homes. They were afraid the Jewish people were going to come in, and even if they didn't conquer the land or take away the land, they still might have robbed them and plundered them like any army passing through a territory, passing through a land. So they hid their gems, their jewels, their gold in the walls of their home, and they plastered over them. They covered them over. So no one would be able to find them. Someone would come into the house and say, oh, there's no valuable possessions here. But the nations knew that they were really hiding there behind the walls. So now the Jewish people come into the land, the nations flee, they refuse. This is all Shir and Sefer Yoshua, whether we make peace with them, don't make peace with them, we make overtures, we don't. It seems like from Sefer Yoshua, we offer them peace, we offer them, say to them, we're coming into the land, we can make a treaty, you can stay here, you can stay in your land, stay in your home, but they refused, and therefore we went to war, Milchev Shiva Amamin, the war with the 7 nations of Canaan. It's a war of conquest. We take over their homes, and now we come in and we don't realize there's all these gems and jewels hidden, gold hidden in the walls of these homes that we're now occupying. So what does God do? He says, when you come into that land, one day or another, there's going to be an affliction on the walls of your home. And you know what? It's not altogether a bad thing. You know why? Because if there's an affliction on your walls of your home, you're going to tear down the wall. You're going to destroy the home. And when you do that, you're going to discover the treasures buried in the walls. Al yedei hanega notates habayis umotza'an. Because of the nega, you're going to tear down the wall and you're going to find these treasures buried beneath. That's why it's Metzora. That's why it's being announced to us now, because it's almost like a gift. It's almost like something positive that's going to come about, even though the situation of having tsaras in your home is a negative one. There's something positive that you're going to discover in the process that you never would have known about otherwise. I think it's a fascinating Rashi, quoting from the Medrash over here, analysis of the Pasuk, but it's also a very, very valuable lesson for life in general. Many hard things come upon us. We never wish them upon ourselves. We never want them for ourselves. We hope they never come, but if they do, there are times when we discover certain things about ourselves or about the world in the process that we never knew existed, that we never knew were hidden in the walls. Through the difficult situations, different things come out in life that we may not have seen before. In addition, not even with difficult situations in life, but in general, sometimes perhaps Rashi is teaching us that to find the gold, to find the gems, to find the jewels, you have to dig hard. Sometimes you have to tear down to find the wonderful treasures that are buried beneath. Sometimes you have to scratch beneath the surface to see the gifts that we sometimes have in life that are not always apparent to the naked eye. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Hopefully it should be a blessed day, a day filled with bracha and mazel and hatzlacha. Take care, everybody.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you,
One question.
everybody.
So
much.
Thank
Bye-bye.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Sarah. Thank you.
Does this mean that that Sarat in general and this particular form of Sarat can only occur within Eretz Israel?
Yes, this one can only occur in Eretz Yisrael. Exactly.
Okay, that's very. But the others could happen outside.
I'm not sure actually. I don't know what we believe about whether the other or the skin one can occur outside of Israel. I feel like it's an obvious thing, but I just don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank
Good
you.
question. Have a good one. See you later,
Bye-bye.
guys. Be well, everybody.